Hello and welcome to the Things Summer Academy. My name is Simon Kemper and I am the co-founder of the Datacake IoT platform. And I was invited by the Things Industries to join this Summer Academy about LoRaWAN to tell you something about IoT platforms. And this is what I'm going to do now. So the next couple of minutes, you see an introduction into IoT platforms. And then in the second half of this show, we are showing and bringing you through a walkthrough how you can add your Arduino device to Datacake IoT platform. But first of all, let's start with IoT platforms. So what actually is an IoT platform? I would like to take a few minutes now to guide you through what IoT platforms do and what they normally look like and what you can use them for. So first of all, this screen here. So as you're familiar, maybe LoRaWAN devices or the whole ecosystem works that you've got LoRaWAN devices on the one side. In the middle there you have got the LoRaWAN gateway, and your devices send data through that gateway to a LoRaWAN network server. In this side, it's the Things Stack LoRaWAN network server where you register your gateways and devices. So this is the device management side. By using this architecture from device over gateway to LoRaWAN network server, your devices are able to publish data to the internet. So you make this raw byte string information available on the internet, and from there on, you can hook up additional services. Most of the time, you want to use your sensor data to display it on a dashboard or to have like alerts or notification if a condition goes beyond a certain threshold, something like that, send an SMS or an email. This is what an IoT platform can do for you. And on the market, there are a couple of IoT platforms available. We can see them all in the overview of the Things Stack webhook integration panel. The webhook integration panel is where you hook up your external services to your sensors or IoT platforms. As you can see here, there's the Datacake logo, but also there are a couple of other IoT platforms on the market available. And you can see an overview here on the Things Stack integrations panel. So let's continue with the typical tasks of an IoT platform. As mentioned before, the combination of gateway, sensor, and LoRaWAN network server brings your LoRaWAN devices into the internet. You want to build dashboards, and you need device management if you have a couple of devices online. So the responsibilities for an IoT platform is device management, alerts, and notifications, if you want to send SMS notifications, user management, if you want to invite your colleagues or even customers to have access to the devices, dashboarding, of course, and the data storage. So if you want to record data and want to historically see the development of temperatures, machine statuses, and so on, you need data storage. And an IoT platform combines all these elements into a single package, and it makes a user-friendly integration for devices. So let's talk a little bit about why using an IoT platform, what are the advantages and what makes a good IoT platform. I'm showing you a few examples with the Datacake IoT platform, but they are valid for all available IoT platforms around there. So first of all, the main part of the IoT platform is visualization. So making your sensor data visually available for the user, for you, for viewing the data on a nice dashboard. So this is also the main interface that most of the time people will see, which is the dashboard. So most of the IoT platforms have a dashboard designer where you can drag things around, build your own dashboards. And some IoT platforms have templates available so that you can add a device using a template and the dashboard is already there. Datacake has this feature and we will show this in the second part. So the main part of the IoT platform is visualization of sensor data. Combined with the visualization of sensor data, you need a data storage. So if your sensors forward data, you want to store this. So to be able to look back what was the sensor weighted 2 weeks ago or 1 hour ago, and to see the progress of sensor data. A data storage most of the time is time series data storage optimized for recording large amounts of data. And it's optimized for IoT devices. And also you almost with every IoT platform got the REST API or an export function. Means that If you hook up your sensors to an IoT platform, you have a third-party API integration where you can hook up your own application and develop front end on top of an existing IoT platform. Also, IoT platforms make it super easy to work with hundreds or thousands of devices. Of course, you could build your own solution and build a dashboard really quickly for a single sensor. But if you want to extend that and deploy hundreds of sensors, you need device management. IoT platforms do that by providing, like in this case, screenshot from the Datacake platform, templates for LoRaWAN devices and also functionalities like deploying or batch importing sensors when you deal with a large amount of sensor devices. Also, when working with IoT or making IoT accessible for your customers, you need user management. So you want to invite customers, guests, collaborators, they all need to work around your sensor devices. So you can say that an IoT platform somehow is like a CRM system for sensors. You focus on the sensor and you build everything around like user management, rights and roles and permissions and so on. And you can use the user management to invite people and then say, okay, this person has access to that sensor, but not to that sensor. And this is something that IoT platforms bring you. And here, once more, this is an advantage over a self-developed solution where you just have to provide a dashboard, because if you deal with multiple sensors and multiple customers, you simply need tools that allow you to easily add new people. And this is what an IoT platform brings. It's user management, so one of the core elements. And something that is directly connected to user management is the ability to create tenants on the platform and to turn this into a white label solution. So tenants means you can create multiple areas on your platform, and each tenant holds a couple of devices and members, and you maybe have a master tenant where you have all your devices, and then you sell your devices to your customers, and you can create tenants for them and enter these devices, or let your users, your ultimate end users, your customers use an IoT platform, which is white labeled to your own look and feel and your own URL and domain. And you can connect your own domain so that they think it's your solution. And then you can just offer the same functions that an IoT platform offers to you, to your end customers. And this lets remove the typical IoT branding and place your own logo and so on. So this is one of the core elements. So as you can see, an IoT platform is just a whole ecosystem of working with devices and turning this into a solution which you can deploy at scale and easily use that for your customers. As I'm a huge fan of keeping things interactive, the second phase of this webinar is even more interesting, because then we will show how you can deploy an Arduino MKR WAN device to the ThinkStack and Datacake and how you can set this up. So let's stop this theoretical thing and go ahead and show you how you actually can use an IoT platform and how that benefits, or how you can benefit from that and speed up your development process. So thanks for watching the first part. Let's continue with the second part. Hello and welcome to the second part of the Things Summer Academy with Datacake. In the first section, we were explaining to you what an IoT platform is and why you would use one. And in the second half, I'm going to show you how you can bring your Arduino MKR WAN to Datacake through the ThinkStack, and how you can set up the IoT platform with Datacake, and how you can use that. So first of all, let's start with the Arduino. This tutorial won't cover every single step required to program the device, but what we've done is that we have created a small snippet for you, or firmware, which you can use with a template on Datacake. So let's go into our Arduino IDE editor. So this is the snippet of firmware that we are running on the Arduino. And let me take you on a short tour through this firmware. So first of all, what we're doing is we are setting up the LoRa module, and we are also setting up the configuration. You need to give these here, or enter the app EUI and the app key that you've created on the ThinkStack, and we're going to show that in a couple of minutes. So let's go on. So basically, this firmware just connects the modem the LoRa modem and connects to the thing stack. It waits until it's connected. It reads out the connected MKR environment shield that you put up on the maker board. It reads out all these little things like temperature, humidity, and it adds them to a protocol called Cayenne LPP, which is low power protocol, I think. This one makes it super easy to work with payloads. You simply read out the payload, put that into the Cayenne LPP protocol, and then we are going to send this through this modem write command to the LoRaWAN network server. We're waiting 60 seconds and then we're continuing, or we are repeating all these steps once more so that it's continuously sending out temperature, humidity, pressure, and all these things coming from the environmental shield to the LoRaWAN network server and to Datacake. So as mentioned before, this tutorial will not cover how you develop firmware for the Arduino device, but to be able to follow all these steps here, we have made this firmware here publicly available, and we will share this on the channels right now. So you can download that directly from our GitHub repository, copy this, or just simply download it and run it from your Arduino IDE. Upload that to your Arduino device, the device which we are, or which the thing Summer Academy is using throughout the whole program. And you can run that directly. And what we now need to do is that we need to register this device on the thing stack so that we can then move this to Datacake as well. So first of all, let's go into the browser and into the thing stack here. So as you can see here, I've created an application for the things Summer Academy. There are no devices in here, and we are now going to add this Arduino device to the thing stack. As you can see, there's a button, which is Add and Device. We press on that. First of all, the things stack allows us to choose a template, devices from a template library. We select Arduino, and they have this MKR WAN 3010. The region is European. The frequency plan is European as well. And now it asks us for an app UI. As we don't have one and we can provide our own app UI on that device and in the code, we press on fill in with zeros. And just for demonstration, we are replacing the last 2 digits with double F. We copy this, go back into the Arduino IDE, and in this code here, there's a configuration for the LoRaWAN module. And in here, there's the app UI. So you simply copy that from the thing stack and paste it in here. Once more, we're going back into the thing stack, and we need to do the same for the app key so that we create a unique key. We're also going to copy that back into Arduino, and there's a placeholder for the app key. You simply place or paste this here. The dev UI is something that's hard-coded on the module. There's some documentation how you can read that out from the Maker One board, but we are now going to copy that because that's the dev UI from that board that I've got here on my table. Copy this back into my browser and set and paste the dev UI in this case, and we do not generate one. We call that this is auto-populated from the things stack. Thank you very much for that. All we need to do now is press on register the end device, which will directly bring us into the view of that device here on that the things stack. So now let me power up the Arduino, and we will see in a couple of seconds. Yes, and as you can see here, it's accepting the join request. Last seen was 5 seconds ago. And so this device is now successfully added to the thing stack, and we can use that now to forward it to Datacake and to actually use that on an IoT platform like Datacake. So for this, we now need to head over to the Datacake webpage. So as mentioned before, Datacake is a web-based cloud IoT platform. That means it runs in the cloud, and you can access that from a web page. So on our homepage, you find this button, Dashboard. When you click on that, it will bring you to the Datacake entry. where you need to log in. But because I want to show you how this works from the beginning, we are going to register as a completely new user. So if you haven't yet registered on Datacake and have no account on Datacake, you can do this by registering by registering on the platform, which is, you can also use the domain directly. So enter app.datacake.de/signup, and then you will be brought onto a sign up formula. Sorry for this being German, but it's using my browser default. But if you access it, it will be in English if you're not familiar with the German language. So first of all, let's log in or register a new account here. Datacake has a multi-tenancy feature, which means you can add multiple clients or projects, but we leave it like it is. So the first workspace will be the name, yeah, my name. And last but not least, I need to provide a password. We press on Create Account. This will bring us into the first workspace. No, I don't want to save this. The first workspace on Datacake, and we can now start and add the Arduino device to Datacake and then play around with that IoT platform here. So to start, just like with the things stack, when you go into the device configuration or device list, you can see that there is this Add and Device button. Datacake has a similar way of adding devices. And this is how you start on Datacake. So this is your workspace, your first view, and this is the list of devices. And to add this Arduino device to Datacake, all we need to do right now is press on this Add Device button here. So if I press on that, it will bring you to, or it will open up a modal where you, similar to the thing stack, can choose templates. The first thing that we see here is the LoRaWAN device type. We support various device types, but we stick with LoRaWAN, of course. And in here, you find a list of presets. And I've created a preset for this Arduino device here, which is the Arduino MKR WAN 1310 plus the ENV template shield. We support various manufacturers. If you have different sensors, LoRaWAN sensors, and you want to easily start with Datacake, you can choose them from this list here. But for this demonstration, we're using the Arduino template, and we press on Next. And here you find a list of available LoRaWAN network servers. Of course, we want to work with the thing stack. We press on Next, and now we're asked for the dev UI. So we're now going to copy this dev UI basically from the thing stack, because the matching happens on the dev UI, which is the serial number from that device. So we go back to the thing stack, and we simply copy this dev UI here from the list of devices. Yeah, it's copied, then back into Datacake, and we paste this in here. Enter a name. We can ignore this warning here because that was from a different dev UI. We enter a name, which is Arduino MKR 1310 plus MKR ENV shield. Sorry for the typo. Now we press on Next, and now you're asked for the device type. Datacake supports up to 2 free devices. So in this case, there's no need to pay anything for that. We just want to play around with that. And so we are going to select the free plan. We press on Add One Device, and this will add the device to the list of devices here in my Datacake workspace. What we can do now is access this device on Datacake, and then you will see what the templates on Datacake will bring you directly when using them. So we simply click on the list entry here, and then you can see there's already a dashboard in that template created for the things coming from that, or for the data coming from that Arduino device. Also, we supplied here the Arduino firmware with a link, and there's a QR code which you can scan, which brings you directly to this repository where you can download the firmware for that Arduino device. So to get you covered once more. So, but as you can see, there's no data yet. So that means that we now need to hook up the thing stack so that the thing stack forwards the data coming from that device to Datacake. And this is done by webhook integrations directly in the things stack. So let's go back to the thing stack. And the thing stack has an integration section. And this integration section, this is where you hook up IoT platforms like Datacake to the Thing Stack, or the Thing Stack to those IoT platforms. Also, you can use different things like the AWS IoT, Azure IoT Hub, and also storage integrations, but also like generic MQTT integrations if you want to develop your own dashboarding solution or your own IoT platform. But if you want to work with an existing IoT platform, so like the Datacake IoT platform, they offer this webhooks integration here. And webhook integration is something that works in the way that every time the Thing Stack receives data from your LoRaWAN devices, it calls a webhook address, so a web address, and forwards that information to that address. Datacake has such an adapter, and luckily the Thing Stack provides a basic starting template. So here once more you can see all the available and different IoT platforms. And there's the Datacake platform adapter, and we simply click on that. And now we are asked for a few setup details, and I will guide you now through these things and what you need to do to set up the webhook integration on the Thing Stack. First of all, we need to provide a webhook ID. We can just simply enter Datacake webhook here, something like that. It's just for separation if you want to have multiple webhooks, which you don't need for the Datacake platform. The token is something that is a special thing about Datacake, which makes sure that the devices or the informations coming through that webhook are your informations or your devices. So let's go back into the Datacake platform once more. And we now need to create a token. So a token is like a basic key, which makes sure that the data coming from your devices is authenticated and it's really your devices and that's something else. On the sidebar of the Datacake platform, you find the members section. You click on that, and in here you find API users. So we are now going to create our first API user once more using that blue button, clicking on that, and the name will be TTI token, for example. And we need to add permissions for all devices so that this token is able to record informations. So we press on add permissions for all devices. And then there's a check mark for can record measurements. This makes sure that data coming from your devices from the Thing Stack only have access to record data, but not to any other features. So this is a separation between the token is used to separate the devices between any other functions. We press on save. This will add the token here. We can now press on show to copy it. And I'm going to copy this and then going back to the Things Stack and simply paste this here. Now we press on create Datacake webhook. The Datacake webhook is added here to our integration sections. We can see that in the overview. And right now we're going back to our end devices here. And yeah, it was already sending data. And so maybe we already have information here on the template. Yes, we do have it. As we can see, the data was forwarded using that webhook information to that template and to that device on Datacake. So let's summarize what we did once more. So we created that end device, added this to the Things Stack. We registered an account on Datacake, and we were using the same add device and template mechanism to add this device to Datacake. And to connect the Things Stack to Datacake, we were using this webhook integrations here. And this is an integration which sends the sender data coming from your devices to the gateway, to the LoRaWAN network server, to Datacake by using a webhook address. And we're identifying ourselves using a token. So this makes sure that the data is not just secured because it's always secured, but also there's an identification set. That means that it's really your devices which are sending the data. Let's go back into Datacake and open up the dashboard once more. As you can see, there are even more data coming here. The graphs are filling with values, and yeah, this is what a template on Datacake brings you. So it's a really easy to use way of integrating LoRaWAN devices to Datacake. Yes, we've now finally added the Arduino device successfully to Datacake, and now I want to give you a short introduction into the advanced features. First of all, we need to explain how the decoding of devices works. So on every Datacake device, you've got these tab bar here where you can access the configuration of the device, but also the debug log. Debug log is showing you what is coming from your device. And as you can see, this is the device data that we are recording through the devices. But as you might know, LoRaWAN devices don't send any high-level data like JSON information. They are sending bits and bytes. And it's the responsibility of the IoT platform or of the developer to turn that into useful information which you can use on an IoT platform. These things are called payload decoders. And they transform the bits and bytes to JSON useful data. Datacake has their own its own payload decoder section, because then we can make sure that devices are compatible between different networks. And if you want to know how this works, in the configuration here, if you scroll down a little bit, you can see the payload decoder section. And this is the basic payload decoder for the Cayenne LPP protocol. And we can just simply leave that, but you can do changes here as well. And underneath the payload decoder section, you can see that there's the fields for the database fields. So if you want to make changes to the fields or add new fields, we support various types of fields which you can add here. So you can extend your device to have more data, or you can hook up external sensors and then use the Cayenne low power protocol and hook up additional sensors here as well. But let's also go on with some advanced features here on the Datacake platform and why IoT platforms make sense. So first of all, you could, of course, develop this with open source softwares and you would get the same result. But why using an IoT platform? It starts making sense if you add a lot of different devices or many devices at once. So there are some advanced features like working with members. You simply can add members, apply different permissions here, and then you have these members in your workspaces. You can also create different workspaces and then move sensors between these workspaces so that you create a workspace for customer A, for customer B, and then move devices and also invite a couple of members into customer A workspace and customer B workspace. We also got a basic rule engine, means that if you want to send notifications, you can of course hard code that, or you define your custom rule where you choose the Arduino sensor and the field like temperature. When this is larger than, let's say, 25 degrees, please send me an email, call a webhook, or send an SMS if you have SMS credits in your workspace. And then you can simply create alerting schemes with that, all just done in a couple of minutes, which is great, because if you want to manually do that, you could of course do that, but an IoT platform helps you with scaling your projects. Also, you can create global dashboards, and if you want to share that device really simply and easily with your customers, you can go into that device. We've got a dashboard editor here where you can also create the dashboard and make some changes here and add some new widgets. And you can also configure these widgets using our web editor here. But if you want to simply share this dashboard with your customers, you can create a public link, and you can also, in this public link, this creates a QR code, which you can scan, and then your customers do have access to this. I'm going to demonstrate this once to copy this and then open this up in a new incognito window, and you can share this link with everybody, and then they have access to your device. So this makes sharing of devices, of development devices, pretty easy and fast. And this is something that's all in the feature set of Datacake, so you don't need to develop that. You can focus on the hardware development and use this platform for your monitoring, alerting, and whatever kind of things you want to do with that. Thanks for watching the second part of this The Things Summer Academy with Datacake. My colleague Lucas Klein will now take over, and as far as I know, there's a workshop going on, and then we can just go ahead and start with tinkering around with the Datacake platform. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.